back in 1994 when Sony released their first gaming console. The PS1 is 28 years old now. Gosh, what amazing games it had. So on this video, I'm going to show you 5 games that I enjoyed playing on this amazing console. So a few years forward, in 2001, the first Harry Potter movie came out, and lots of guys with suits had this amazing idea of making a video game adaptation.
Michael, they're f***ing us! The suits! And they don't even wear suits!
Back then, when graphic design was not a thing, Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone came out. Different games on different platforms. The game begins with this beautiful melody and a voiceover explaining the story.
There was nothing about the starry sky that night to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening.
Therefore, you start your adventure at Hogwarts, where they send 12-year-olds to dangerous lava lakes. Anyways, Dumbledore welcomes you inside of the castle with all the other students and tells you how dangerous the 3rd floor is and that you should stay out of it. So finally free, you can familiarize yourself with the controls, while Dumbledore is walking around endlessly. While exploring, you can find Fred and George and lots of iconic characters from the movies, even Hagrid. After you free Hedwig, you can attend your first flying lesson. You're all excited at first until they come at you with all the messed up controls.
The fuck? Push! Help! Oh, hell no! Oh! Man, dang!
After miraculously passing that flying lesson, it is time for you to learn some magic. So each time before attending class, you have to pass a parkour test before the timer runs out. Your entire learning course will be to press some buttons at the right time while the teacher is giving you a motivational speech.
But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
The game keeps on with lots of different missions and phases. However, what I really liked about the game is the exploration. You always wonder what is behind every door. Then of course, there is a sequel which is better than the first one, but instead of fighting Malfoy or Voldemort, you're fighting a damn pumpkin for God's sake. So back again in the 90s, when Ubisoft's logo was looking like that, Rayman 2 came out. Action-adventure game that have more detail than a 2020 game. So to keep it short, a bunch of pirates attacked your land and captured you with your best friend. Thank God there is a hole in the cell that can lead you straight to freedom. After some unfortunate events, you get lost in the forest.
Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
After walking for a while, you meet up with these Anyways, these creatures send you to the multiverse so you can go find a solution. And so basically the whole game is about collecting 4 masks. What I like the most in video games is the ability to do anything. You can swim, climb, play Spider-Man, literally drive a rocket, slide away from a dangerous troll, play basketball with your belly, you name it. So to finish this part of the video, here is a compilation of all the moments I died in the game. So 3 years back, Naughty Dog, one of the greatest games company, released one of the most iconic game series in history, Crash Bandicoot. I only played the second one, so we're gonna go with that. So the game begins with this dude named Cortex falling from the sky. A year later, after discovering the power from crystals, him and his colleague creates a gigantic spaceship bigger than the Earth. So here you are minding your own business and suddenly you get kidnapped. Later on, Cortex persuades you by telling you,
"May the crystals crash. During the course of my intellectual pursuits, I have stumbled across a force that threatens to destroy the world."
so most of the game gonna go through different portals searching for crystals. When you have enough crystals, you get into a boss fight that are easier than the normal missions. So that's about it for the game. Unfortunately, there is no compilation.
If Halloween Boy shows up, he's one dead buck.
You guessed it, we're talking about Spider-Man. So the game begins with a CGI cutscene of a science expo where Dr. Octavius presents his machine. Suddenly, an imposter Spider-Man beats up the guards and gets away with the machine. Turns out, Octavius planned all of this to screw up Spider-Man's reputation, but also to make a toxic fog that covers all the streets of New York. This fog is kind of an excuse for the developers for you to not go down. After a brief welcome speech from Stan Lee,
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here.
you are in one of the highest skyscrapers of New York, with Black Cat showing you the basics. You can jump, swing, stick to walls, web shoot, do some fighting combos. Swinging from a building to another, you go to stop a bank robbery, save the hostages. But after the Science Expo, everyone turned against you, including the cops. Throughout your adventure, you are going to fight iconic Spidey villains like Scorpion, Rhino, Venom, Carnage. This game also have a sequel which they did quite some changes, which are the Spider-Man suits have more details and have a wingsuit that you cannot use. Now that there is no fog, you can be a casual American citizen and walk in the streets of New York. Just wanted to point out the attention the developers has put in the game. The amount of references and Easter eggs are unbelievable. Bro, you can even find the Lost Ark. Isn't that something? Driver 2 released in November 2000, the only mature game I played on the console. So the story begins with a CGI cutscene at nighttime, where a car drives towards a bar. Within this bar there is two people talking. One we can barely see him and the other looks like that nerd from Bully. They get out of the vehicle and shoot up the place. One guy gets shot, the other runs away.
Bye, have a great time.
Later on we are with some investigators and we get to know our hero, John Tanner, former racer that decided to offer his expertise for the Secret Service. Same dude from Driver 1. Anyways, the officers noticed a tattoo on the dead body. It represents a Brazilian gang of some guy called Vasquez. Only this Vasquez is an absolute ghost. No one has ever seen his face. Just like the movie Usual Suspects.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
You start playing in sunny Chicago. You take the car and go meet your colleague to investigate your only lead, a witness, and directly notice the terrible field of view. This game had too much to offer for its time, so we're going to let that slide. Driving games are so different and each game gives you a different experience. Some are towards realism and some are more arcade. Well, Driver 2 made a good mix of both. If you drive like a maniac, you quickly notice that the vehicle destruction is damn good for a PS1 game. You can even see the car rim going to Belize. So anyways, you go meet your colleague and do a car chase with the witness. The car chase turned into a train chase. You finally catch the guy. The shootout was to settle a beef between two gangs, and you're gonna get involved in this gang war and try to stop them. You also get to travel a lot: Chicago, Vegas, Havana, and Rio. So the Driver series have a reputation of being very hard. So here is a montage of all my troubles in the game.
Let me go! Stop right there!
Hello there.
Get over here!
Hawak ka ba, pre? Like some other thing.
Oh, look at me, I'm big.